Hey everyone, Tiffany Thomas here with wealthytiffany.com. I hope you guys are having a great Wednesday, and we are here to do another video, a Wealth Wisdom Wednesday Q&A. So I'm super excited to be with you guys today, and I am just going to refresh this so I can make sure and see any comments that we might have. Okay, perfect. There we go. You guys, so when I did my last Wednesday video, I got some questions about that. So I kind of just, I'm going to, go off of the questions that I got last week. And so what it was, they just wanted more of an explanation about budgeting, about setting up your spending plan so you can actually manage your money and have your money start working for you, right? That's what we want. So I'm going to talk about that today. And if you missed last Wednesday, it's still live on my Facebook page profile, Tiffany Thomas, your wealth mentor. So you can check it out there. And we talked about the 5 steps to successful money management. So go ahead and catch that later on. And today we are going to talk about setting up your spending plan or your budget, if you want to call it that. So super excited to talk about this today. So I just wanted to, go over just a few myths kind of that are, that people have about budgeting. And one of them is, people say, well, if I'm budgeting, I won't be able to buy fun things, or I'll have to spend less because my budget will be so restrictive. And that's actually a myth. So budgeting actually means that you'll be able to get to spend your money on things that you really value, that you have a top priority for. So you'll be allocating more money toward things that actually make you happier, which is a win-win, right? So if you're saving for a vacation that you want to take, your budget helps you to be able to do that, to be able to take that vacation that you want to take. So budgeting is actually really exciting. And another myth is that it's hard to follow a budget. People get caught in the trap of, oh, I don't want to keep updating my budget. It takes, it's too difficult. But here's the thing with that, and I talked about this a little bit last week about setting financial goals. So when you're budgeting, you want to make sure that you're setting financial goals to go along with your budget. So you can set long-term or short-term goals that you want to reach. And, if you have those goals set up, then it won't seem that hard to budget, because you can actually see that you are working toward those goals and that you can actually achieve those goals, whatever it is that you might be working on, right? So if it's saving for that vacation to Italy or to Bali or Hawaii or wherever it is, right? So if you have your budget, you can actually track and see, okay, I have, this much amount saved toward that trip. And next month I'm going to have this much more. And, next month I'll have the full amount. So you can actually track, when you'll be able to reach these goals, be able to take your vacation, or, have enough for a down payment on a house, whatever it might be that you want to achieve, some financial goal that you're excited about. Okay, and then the next myth that I want to talk about is budgeting takes too much time. And actually, budgeting doesn't really take that much time, and it actually helps you create time for what you really want to be doing. So when you set up your budget, it even helps you, plan out your calendar for the month so you can budget in things. So if you have a wedding that's coming up and you need a wedding gift, so you can, budget for that. You can put that into your budget, and it just helps you be more aware of, what's going on that month. And it actually helps you spend less time worrying about money or worrying about, getting that gift last minute or something like that. And once your budget is set up, it really doesn't take that much time to manage it. And the longer you budget or, track your finances and really start managing your money, the less time it takes because you're already in the habit. So, right now I'm already in the habit of budgeting my money. So I'm aware of what I'm spending my money on, and it's a lot easier. So once you start, it makes things a lot easier as you go along. And it really doesn't take that much time, and it really does help you have time to spend on other things because you're not constantly worrying about, oh, do I have enough money to do this activity or to buy this certain thing, whatever it might be. You're not spending time worrying about that because you've already budgeted and you know what's available. So you're like, okay, yeah, I can do that, no problem. All right, so then the next myth that I want to talk about is budgeting isn't really that important. It's meaningless numbers. And on time.com, I just wanted to share this stat with you. They state that one of the habits of highly successful people is to set up a savings and payment system to keep their financial house in order. And they don't turn a blind eye once they set up the system. Whatever their tracking system is, their budgeting system, their spending plan, they have that budgeting system and they continue to check in with it. So, if we are seeing these highly successful people actually take time to budget or to manage their finances, then clearly it's working for them, right? And it can work for us too. And the way I teach budgeting is to tie your budget to your goals, like I talked about before. And when you do that, it's really not meaningless numbers. You're not just logging in and updating your budget and saying, okay, great, I spent this amount here, that's it, right? You're really logging in and updating your budget and then saying, okay, yeah, am I getting closer to my goal that I want to achieve? Can I reallocate some of these funds and, put them toward my goal or something else that brings me more happiness or makes my life feel more fulfilled? So it's not just meaningless numbers, it's actually attaching your budget to your goals or your values and priorities. So I want to talk about steps to creating a successful budget or spending plan, like I like to call it. And this is actually what I do. So I just want to share these steps with you. So hopefully it will help you be able to set up a way to manage your money that's pretty easy and will be easier to manage and to update, keep up to date. So the first step that I do is I've actually set up a mint.com account, and it's a free online account. You can just go to mint.com and set up an account there. And what it is, it has it links to all of your financial accounts. So all of your credit cards that you might have, or your banks where you have your savings or your checking. It links to your investing accounts, your mortgage, whatever, all different kinds of accounts. All of mine have been able to link to it so far. I haven't had any problem. So what I've done is set up a mint.com account, and I linked all of my financial institutions to mint.com. So I have all of my transactions in one place, and I actually have the app on my phone. So I just log into that every once in a while and I check to make sure that, okay, yeah, this payment went through, no problem. Or, my rental income came through this month, great. It's just a really fast way to kind of watch your money, your financial transactions. And it's really easy to set up, really easy to use. And you can also track your net worth. So basically all of your assets minus all of your liabilities. So everything that you own minus everything that you owe. And this is the number that we want to grow in order to achieve financial freedom. We want to see our net worth continue to increase. And you can check this in mint.com so fast. So you just log in, it refreshes your accounts, takes less than a minute, and it will show you your total net worth. So you can watch that number increase, which is exciting. Okay, and once I have set up my mint.com account, then I also have a spreadsheet that I use. So I set up just a really simple spreadsheet, and I just have all of my income at the top. So whether you have, a paycheck that's coming in, or if you have rental income that's coming in, or if you have, money from your business, whatever it might be. So I have that listed at the top. And I have it just broken down by month, what that monthly amount would be. So you can just put in there, kind of your budgeted, your estimated amount. And so I list all of my different income. that I have. And then I list my expenses. And the way I do this is I set up my fixed expenses first. And fixed expenses are expenses that don't change every month. So this could be things like your phone bill, or your rent that you're paying, or your insurance, whatever, type of expense that is going to be the same every month. And I list all of those, and then I list my variable expenses. So this would be expenses that would change each month, that would vary. So, maybe you spend more on groceries one month than the next month, or you spend more money on some fun stuff, like going out to eat or going to the movies or something like that. It's not going to be the same every month. So I list all of those expenses. And then, and you can combine certain variable expenses together. So I don't want you to think that, okay, I have to have a category for my toothpaste and, my makeup, or, my shoes that I buy, or whatever it might be. You can combine categories together, whatever makes sense for you. So I combine my groceries and my makeup together, and, maybe that won't work for you, but it's just whatever works for you. So you don't have to have 100 different categories listed, right? So you can kind of think what goes together, and combine those categories, whatever makes sense for you. And then I like to have all of my fixed expenses separate. So it's like my phone bill, my insurance and things, because I like to check on those expenses about maybe once every year or so, and just make sure that I'm still getting the best rate. So, a while ago I called my home insurance, and I, called Geico, who my car insurance is through, and, I just asked them what their home insurance rates would be, and then compared it to who I have now, to see if it would be better. So that's just one thing. I like to keep all of my fixed expenses separate so that I can check in on those and make sure that I'm still getting the best deal. And, another example, like a phone plan, I was just talking to some of my friends to do a family phone plan together. And one of them, and I decided actually not to do it, but anyway, one of them had said, oh, well, since you mentioned that, I actually called Verizon and now I'm on a cheaper plan. So it's just, being aware of your expenses and then checking in on them and thinking, okay, maybe, I can call them and see, maybe they have a better plan right now. So that's one thing I like to do, is keep my fixed expenses separate. And then also you want to include whatever your goal is in your expenses. So if you are saving for a trip to Hawaii or something, then you want to make sure that's a line item in your budget, in your spending plan, so that you can actually transfer money over to a certain savings account, a separate savings account, that you have in order to save up for that vacation, or a down payment on a house, whatever it might be. So you want to make sure you put that as an expense line item in your budget. And then you'll want to, at the bottom, I just have, a space where it shows all of my income minus my expenses, so that I can make sure that I'm not spending more than I'm bringing in, right? We want to not be in the negative. We want to stay in the positive. So we want to have that number at the bottom. And I just set this up by month. And so I have a separate tab for each month, and I have my overall tab, so it shows, all of the expenses for the whole year and all of the income for the whole year, but then I have a separate tab for each month, and all I do is take my expenses from Mint.com and I export them into my spreadsheet, so that I can see them in the spreadsheet. You can use Mint.com, utilize their services, and, that might work for you, but I just like having that spreadsheet. I have a little more flexibility, so I can, change certain things, or I can view certain things in a certain way. So that's how I like to do it, is to export all of my transactions into my spreadsheet each month, and then I can see what I've spent in each category, in each expense category for that month, and how much income has come in that month. So I have just a quick view, and I can make sure, that I'm spending where I want to be spending. So on things that I actually value or have a high priority. And, I evaluate those expenses. So when I look at that, I think, oh man, I spent, X amount on clothes this month. I really don't need to be doing that. Like I could put that amount towards, a down payment for another rental property or something like that. So it's just, when you're looking at your expenses, making sure that you're evaluating, yeah, this is in line with what I want to be spending my money on. Or no, it's not, and maybe I need to make some changes, some adjustments. And then also making sure that you are, saving for your financial goal. And, you can always transfer that into a separate savings account so that it's completely separate and you're not tempted to spend that money on something else, so that you can, take that trip that you want to take. And then once your spreadsheet is set up, and you have Mint.com set up, what you want to do is schedule a specific time to update your budget. And I would start with once a week. So Sundays are the day that I update my budget. So make sure and schedule a time to actually do that. Because what gets scheduled gets done. I'm sure you've heard that phrase before. But it's true. If it's not on the calendar, it's not going to get done. So you want to make sure and, schedule that time to actually update your budget so that you can start taking more control of your money and be more aware of where you're spending your money and, reallocate that into something that you might have a higher value or a higher priority for. It doesn't have to take a lot of time. The initial setup will take more time, but once it's set up, then it's really easy to update. So if you're just scheduling that time every week, then it's not going to take a lot of time. If you wait until, the end of the month or a couple months out, then it's going to take more time to update it. So just schedule, 30 minutes, maybe an hour in the beginning to update your budget so that you can, actually track your finances and reach your financial goals. And, once you start doing this, like I mentioned before, I don't update my budget every week now, but I'm really conscious of what I'm spending my money on because I've been budgeting for so long, that it's just a lot easier to know where I've spent my money, and I'm just a lot more conscious of it. So it does get easier and it takes less time as you do it more. So I just wanted to, share that with you and be completely transparent that no, I'm not, updating it every week, but I am aware of what I'm spending my money on and I am still updating my budget. So it's still something that's important to me. I'm just more aware of it. I'm just more conscious of it. And like I said, once you start, then it's easier. It gets easier as you go along. Okay. And then I talked about this a little bit before. But you want to analyze if you are spending your money on things that you truly value, that truly make your life feel fulfilled and, is a priority to you. And if you need to change something in your environment, then make a conscious effort and do that. So for example, if you have a certain group of friends that, goes out to eat every week, maybe you can, talk to your friends and say, hey, I'm really trying to spend less on my eating out so that I can save for this trip that we want to take, or whatever it might be. And, ask them, hey, can we do a potluck instead? We could do it at my house and, everyone can just bring a dish and you can do a potluck and it's less expensive. So there's just things like that. So you can start thinking about ways to change your environment to make it easier for you because we know what our weaknesses are, right? And if we can start thinking, okay, I know I need to change this. How can I change that? How can I make that better? If you stop at the gas station on your way home from work every day, maybe you can start taking a different route home. Or you can schedule something right at 5:30 so that you have to be home and you won't have time to stop at the gas station and spend money there that, is not really a high priority for you. So just thinking of different ways that you can change your environment to make it easier for you. That's what we want to do. make it easier for you and have you spending your money where it really makes you happy, where it really makes you feel fulfilled. Instead of on things that don't really matter and you're going to forget about in a week anyway. Or maybe, you're going to forget about that cute dress that you bought a couple weeks ago because you bought 3 new cute dresses or whatever it might be. So just really start thinking about where you're spending your money and if that is really truly bringing you happiness and making your life more fulfilled, or if it's not and you need to change something. And also, I just wanted to share that if you are interested in, seeing tutorials and getting my spreadsheet and everything, I do have a budgeting course, Budgeting Bootcamp. So if you go to my website, wealthytiffany.com, you can click on courses and just look for Budgeting Bootcamp. So you can check that out there if you're interested in that. And hopefully this is helpful because we really need to start taking control of our money. And if we want to retire or become financially free, the sooner we take control of our money, the sooner we'll be able to do that. And, budgeting or setting up a spending plan is really helpful for that. As I read that stat earlier, highly successful people know how to manage their money. They take care of their finances. So it's really important. And it also carries over into other aspects of your life. So there are just major benefits to budgeting or setting up a spending plan. So let me just review the steps with you really quick about creating a successful spending plan. So the first one is to set up a Mint.com account, which is free, completely free. And if you're worried about security issues, I haven't had any problems and I've been using it for years. And then the second thing is to set up a spreadsheet to organize all of your transactions. So you'll put your income and your expenses in there. And you'll have a line, saying, your income minus all of your expenses. And you want to see what's left over because we want that to be a positive amount. And then we want to schedule a specific time to update our budget every week. And we want to put that on the calendar and, try to make it the same time, the same day every week, because that'll make it easier because you'll remember at that time every week, oh yeah, I need to update my budget. And then, make sure to analyze when you are spending, make sure and analyze your spending transactions and make sure that it's something that is making you or helping you become more fulfilled or happier. Because, when we focus on things that actually we value or make us have a more fulfilling life, the happier we are going to be. So those are the steps to successful budgeting. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to post below the video. And if you have questions about something else, feel free to post below the video as well. I am happy to answer those questions. And I'm going to be starting a little YouTube series. So look forward to that. I will have announcements about that when that gets started. But I'm going to kind of switch over these videos to kind of more of a series. So I'm excited to start that. And also, I wanted to announce this as well. I've announced it in a few different places, but if you guys are looking to achieve financial freedom before 65 or the regular retirement age, you'll want to get on my VIP waitlist for Fast Track Financial Freedom Virtual Workshop. And I'll drop that in the comments, the link to that, so you can get on my VIP waitlist. It's going to be amazing, and you're going to be able to map out your complete financial freedom plan and actually know how to take the steps to achieve financial freedom when you want to. So I'm excited about that. And yeah, you guys, I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I will talk to you soon. All right, thanks.